Hello students, a very warm welcome to my ecology class, especially phytogeography class. Today we will be talking about the different phytogeographic regions of India. I have divided this lecture into two parts. This is the first part to it. This will be followed by the second part. So let's get started. This map of India shows you the different phytogeographic regions of Indian subcontinent. This map is showing you the biogeographic regions marked with these numbers. We are going to study phytogeography as proposed by the eminent phytogeographer Professor D. Chatterjee. He had given us 9 such phytogeographic regions. Some may call it 9, some may say it is 10. So let's quickly just see what are the different regions. According to D. Chatterjee, let me just write. Remember this name. It is Western Himalayas, Eastern Himalayas, Indus Plain, Gangetic Plain, Central Plain. For you to remember, I'm telling you to just remember Himalayas, 2 parts, Western and Eastern, 3 types of plains, Indus Plain, Gangetic Plain, Central Indian Plain, or plains of Central India. Then next comes Deccan, western coast of Malabar, Assam, and Bay Islands of Andaman and Nicobar. Right? The western and eastern Himalayas will be here. Here you know western Himalayas is part, then the eastern Himalayas here. Assam will be here. Then you have the Gangetic Plain all throughout here. Central India, you have it here. Deccan region is the peninsular region, this one, you know. Then you have the western coast, Malabar region, this one, and you have the Bay Islands over here, right? So let's start with Western Himalayas. Western Himalayas cover Garhwal and Kumaun of Uttaranchal. Just remember these names. These are important for you to know. Garhwal and Kumaun of Uttaranchal, parts of Himachal Pradesh and parts of Jammu and Kashmir. So you can see here, I just change the color. It will be easier for you to see. Jammu and Kashmir, right? Parts of Jammu and Kashmir here. You can see this. Himachal Pradesh, I mean parts of Himachal Pradesh also, and you have Uttarakhand here, right? Okay, so let's see what's there. The northern part of our country, you all know, is bounded by the lofty, majestic Himalayas and is one of the important botanical regions of the world with climate and vegetation excuse me, ranging from truly tropical near the low altitudes to temperate Arctic types at the higher altitude. So towards the lower altitude, it is of what type? Tropical. And here you will see tropical trees growing. Little higher up, at higher altitudes, you will see temperate trees growing. Okay. The northern mountain division can phytogeographically be divided into western, central, and eastern zones. Okay. Now see, Western Himalayas consist of North Kashmir, South Kashmir, a part of Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Garhwal, and Kumaun. Right? This zone is wet in the outer southern ranges and slightly dry in inner northern zone. So the southern part receives greater rainfall, wetter region, and the northern zone, inner northern zone, is little dry. The average annual rainfall in this region is from 100 to 200 centimeters, right? Snowfall occurs in this region during winter season. We all know it, right? The beautiful snowscape of this region is always a treat to the eye, isn't it? Next, see, the region may be divided into 3 subzones, okay? Submontane, temperate, alpine. Submontane zone or lower region or tropical and subtropical belts, which ranges up to 1,500 meters altitude from the sea level, okay? Now see, this region is characterized by certain very popular trees like especially timber yielding trees like Shoria robusta. Please note the names of these plants, very important. Shoria robusta. Then you have Butea. Then Acacia. Then you have Ziziphus. Okay. Chert pine is found at a little higher altitude. Other than that, you also have Dalbergia, Pinus longifolia, Pinus roxburghi. If I write it here, Pinus longifolia. Then you have Pinus roxburghi. Dalbergia. All these plants are found here. Remember, ground vegetation is a little scanty here. Next is the temperate zone. It ranges from 1,500 meters to 3,500 meters in altitude. And the famous plants here are oaks, then poplars, then comes rhododendron, very famous. Butea is also found here. It's not that it is only found in the lower altitude. Texas is found. Then other than this, you have Pinus excelsa, Picea, Abies. All these plants are very important. Please remember. Next, coming to the alpine zone. It is above 3,500 meters and up to the line of perpetual snow. Perpetual snow is beyond which snow never melts. Right? The vegetation here consists of evergreen conifers and some low and broadleaf trees. Okay. Vegetation is usually cushion and dwarf-like. In the lower alpine region, you will find birch forests. Okay. Birch forest along with note these down. I'm again and again telling you. Birch forest along with juniperus, then herbs like polygonum, silver fir. Okay, all these are very popular here. Geranium. All these are found in this region. Okay. Next, we'll talk about Eastern Himalayas, right? This region extends in the Himalayas from east of Nepal up to Arunachal. Now, Eastern Himalayas extend from Sikkim to Upper Assam, Darjeeling, and NEFA, right? Vegetation of this region differs from that of Western Himalayas distinctively, right? The chief differences are due to changed environmental factors. And remember, Western Himalayas is a little more drier and the greenery is more in Eastern Himalayas because of greater rainfall, little lesser temperature. I mean, lesser temperature means the chill over there is more. In Western Himalayas, temperature is too low. But in the Eastern Himalayas, it is not too very low. So what are the factors? The chief factors: heavy rainfall, less snowfall, and high temperature and humidity, as I was just now telling you. See how beautiful Eastern Himalaya looks. This is Kanchenjunga, the queen of Himalayas. Sikkim and Darjeeling districts of West Bengal and Arunachal Pradesh, right? The altitude ranges from 1,500 meters to the sea-capped mountains of Kanchenjunga, right? The climate is warmer and wetter than in Western Himalayas. Obviously, this region receives little more rainfall. Tree line and snow line are higher by about 300 meters than in the Western Himalayas, right? The tropical temperature and rainfall conditions result in vegetations of the region having greater general species diversity, greater variety of oaks, but lesser variety of conifers than in Western Himalayas, right? This region is also divided into 3 zones. What are the 3 zones here? Tropical submontane, temperate or montane zone, and alpine zone, right? Isn't this really beautiful? Yes, it is. So now we'll talk about the plants of this region, right? So in the tropical part, tropical or submontane zone, right? First is, so in this tropical zone, you have sal forest, right? Mixed deciduous forest, then Terminalia, Bohemia, all these are there. Savanna grasslands are also there sometimes. Sterculia, then you have Terminalia, right? You also have Bohemia, etc. Right? Now coming to the temperate belt. What do you have here? You have Abies, rhododendron, right? Little lower, you have oaks also, oak forest, okay? And in the alpine zone, what do you have? Predominance of shrubs and meadows. Predominance of shrubs and meadows. Okay. Fine. Now, next we move on to Indus Plain. Right? This region comprises a part of Punjab, Delhi, Rajasthan, a part of Gujarat and Kutch. The climate has very dry and hot summers alternating with dry and cold winters. The annual rainfall is generally less than 70 centimeter, less than 70 centimeters, please note, and maybe 10 to 15 centimeters in some areas. So less, see, only 10 to 15 centimeters in some areas. Most of the region is desert today, though it had dense forest about 2000 years ago that were destroyed due to biotic factors, particularly extensive cattle grazing. Fine. The vegetation today consists of tropical thorn forest and grasslands in some area. See, the Indus Plain, and in the Indus Plain, the agricultural products are what? Wheat. So what are the plants that grow over there? Wheat, cotton, and millets. Right. The natural plant of this region are mainly xerophytic. That means they are adapted to grow in arid condition, and mesophytic. Some common plant of this region are Acacia, Prosopis, Salvadora, Tecomella, Caparis, Ziziphus, Calotropis. Please remember these names. If you can't remember everything, at least some you must remember. Other than this, you also have Albizia, Saccharum munja, Acacia Senegal, Delbergia. These are also there. In addition, some mangrove plants are also found in the Kutch region. See, this is the region. Next, we move on to the Gangetic plains. This region, you see, this green colored patch is the Gangetic plain. See nicely. This plain is crisscrossed by mighty rivers like Ganga, Brahmaputra. It is also called Indo-Gangetic plain because Indus is also there, river Indus. This is one of the richest vegetational zones in India. This zone covers flat land of a part of Delhi, whole of UP, see, entire Uttar Pradesh, this part. See, this part, whole of UP, Bihar and West Bengal, and also parts of Orissa. Rainfall in this zone is from 50 centimeters to 150 centimeters. A great part of the land is under cultivation. This land is known for growing crops. The common crop plants are wheat, barley, maize, sorghum, bajra, urad, moong. Moong means Phaseolus mongo, Cajanus cajan, sesame, saccharum, pisum, gram, potato, brassica, rice, etc. Many are there. This patch is the Gangetic plain, Indo-Gangetic plain. Okay. See, the western part of UP, in the western part of UP, annual rainfall is 50 to 110 centimeters, right? Dry deciduous and shrubby forests are very common in this part. Okay. In eastern Gangetic plain, the conditions are cold and wet. Annual rainfall is more over here, 150 centimeters in West Bengal. In this part, evergreen forests are common. In central part, the annual rainfall is about 100 to 150 centimeters. So over and above, you can see rainfall is quite generous here. Okay, next we move on to central India. Central India covers Madhya Pradesh, parts of Orissa, Gujarat, and the Vindhyas. The areas are hilly. The Vindhya range, Vindhya mountains are there. The average rainfall per annum may be 100 to 170 centimeter, not less, isn't it? Some places are at an altitude of 500 to 700 meters from the sea level. Now see, this part is your central India. Biotic disturbances are very common in this botanical province. So far you haven't read about this. This has led to the development of thorny vegetation in open areas. Okay. In this region, teak, that is Tectona grandis, and sal, that is Shorea robusta forests, are very common. So you must remember the names of these two, Tectona grandis, that is teak, and sal. These are timber yielding plants, trees. Okay, other trees are Terminalia, Bauhinia, mango, that is Mangifera. All these are also found here. See, this is how it looks. Next, we move on to the Deccan region. Deccan means the peninsular part or the southern part of our country. This is the Deccan region. This black outline you can see here, this one. This is the Deccan region. This region comprises whole of the southern peninsular India, including Satpura and southern part of Godavari River. Right? Average annual rainfall in this region is about 100 centimeter. It may be divided into the following subdivisions: the Deccan Plateau and the Coromandel Coast. Right? This region comprises of southern peninsular India from Madhya Pradesh up to Kanyakumari, excluding the Western Ghats. Okay, because Western Ghat is generally studied separately. It is so diverse and varied. It is studied separately. The vegetation consists of tropical dry evergreen, dry deciduous, and swamp forests. Right. The Deccan Plateau teak forest containing Diospyros, Acacia, Prosopis, Santalum, that is Chandan, very famous here, Cedra, these are very common trees found over here. Now we'll move on to Assam. That is now moving towards the eastern part of our country. This botanical province is very rich in vegetation and covers valley of Brahmaputra. The principal river here is river Brahmaputra. Naga Hills and Manipur. This region, this is a region of heaviest rainfall. You know Meghalaya, Cherrapunji, the wettest place in our country. Cherrapunji is one of the rainiest place in the world where annual rainfall is 1000 centimeter. It exceeds 1000 centimeter. Okay, excessive wetness and high temperature in the zone are responsible for the development of dense forest. Right? See how beautiful it looks, the lush green vegetation there. Broad-leaved tall evergreen angiosperms and some conifers are very common in the forest. Common plants occurring in this region are ficus, Atrocarpus, Michaelia champaca, Sterculia, Alata, Morus. Okay, these are some of the very important plants. Please remember the names along with their correct spelling. Prominent plants in the northern forests of the zone are Alnus, Betula, Rhododendron. Beautiful various types of orchids are also very famous here. Right? So here we complete this first session of the lecture of phytogeographic regions of India. In the next lecture, we will continue with the zones that we could not complete in this particular lecture. So please stay tuned till then. Thank you so much for attending the lecture. Bye-bye.